Welcome to the Nightly Rant
with
your hosts, Mike
and Torya.
This is the show where we examine society from a sarcastic point of view.
If you like insane conversations, this is definitely the show for you.
Let's get into today's topic. YPN people, I don't know about you, but I love helping out a friend. That's why I want to shout out my friend Brian Little and his podcast, Your Favorite Blockhead. This is the only show that manages to weave together peanuts and MMA into one heck of an amazing podcast. You can find Your Favorite Blockhead wherever your favorite podcasts reside and at yourfavoriteblockhead.com. Do me a huge favor and listen to Brian's show. You'll be entertained and you'll help out a friend. Now, as I said, let's get into today's topic. So, what's new?
Well, it's been quite a day.
Explain.
I fired my favorite VA today.
Why?
I don't know. She looked at me funny.
And you didn't run this by me?
Of course not. Why would I ever do that?
Wait a minute. How could she look at you funny? Like, explain that.
I don't know. She sent me a picture. She looked at me funny. I didn't like you very much. Her name's Hannah.
Wait a minute. Isn't that who's right here on screen with us at the moment? This is awkward.
It really is awkward.
So Hannah, what are you doing here if you were fired?
Well, obviously, I worked my way back in. I'm that good.
That is a good answer.
That was a good answer.
You realize, if she ever fires anyone, you can appeal to me and I'll overturn it.
Unless you also make him angry, and then there's no one to appeal to, unfortunately.
Like that. But, I got to say, Hannah did not get fired. She was here. We planned this for at least since the weekend. We had this plan.
I would pull all of my hair out if Hannah was fired.
Did you see the email from the last VA that we had to let go because for 2 weeks she didn't do any work?
Yeah, I was not super amused, so
okay,
that I promptly forgot about it.
At first, she sends an email saying that she's really sorry that things didn't work out and that we were very professional and patient with her, but that her husband doesn't have a job right now and she really needs the money. And, part of me felt bad for her.
But then she was, so what happened in 2 weeks?
Oh, right. That's Hannah, you nailed it. That's exactly where my brain went. Okay, so if I'm in a situation where Torya can't work and isn't making money, I'm going to be busting my butt to get more money coming in to make up for the money she's making that she can't make. But she just sat around and twiddled her thumbs for 3 weeks and told me how she was really good at eBay stores and answering customer emails. But during the interview with her, that wasn't what she sold herself on. She sold herself on that she had all these admin skills and could do this and could do that. I don't know. It was a weird situation. So Hannah is from, where are you from, Hannah?
Belize.
So where is that located? Educate our non-educated listeners who have no clue about geography.
So Belize is in Central America. It's the only English-speaking Central American country. Let me get my direction right. It's south of Mexico and it's east of Guatemala.
So what makes it, what's the history? Why is it an English-speaking country?
So I'll try to tell this as non-school-like as possible.
Okay.
So initially, the Mayans occupied this area. Collectively, Central America is called the Mesoamerica region. So yeah, there were Mayas here. We still have a lot of Mayan temples across the country. And so in the 1500s, then Columbus came and other people from Spain and Europe, and they discovered America. If people could see me, they could see the air quotes.
Yes.
Discovered.
Yeah, discovered America. And so with that, they brought destruction and diseases and different things. A lot of the Mayas got sick. There were different conflicts already at that time because of the big population of people here. But anyway, so a lot of them migrated to other parts of Central America, like Guatemala and Mexico. So then there was this one time, I have to get my dates right, but I can't at the moment. But there's this one time a Spanish ship shipwrecked and a few people survived. The Mayas captured them basically, and I think they killed some of them and only 2 of them were left alive. But then those two people, one of them, he got married to the chief's daughter. So first you have the Mayan culture, then you have the Spanish and the Maya culture coming together that created the mestizo culture. So it's kind of the Hispanics for Belize. And then eventually the Spanish people coming to Belize, they were extracting logwood, which at the time they extracted a dye from it. It was like during that time in history where all the clothes was dark and black and depressing.
But that's how it is here in my house. Every time I see Torya in the morning when she gets dressed for work.
I have colorful pants on right now.
Well, that's true. Today was the first.
Oh, God.
Colorful pants. Whoop-ah!
Those are pretty colors.
They're great.
They also have Mickey Mouse ears on them if you actually look closely.
I remember the Mickey Mouse one. Not because I saw it, but I heard about it.
Yep. So continue on.
So eventually, British pirates started robbing the Spanish ships. And then it was like, hey, there's good stuff in that area. So eventually, the British started coming to Belize. At the time, like Belize has been called so many different names throughout time because initially it was considered the Bay of Honduras. Then after that, it was called British Honduras because the British started coming here. And then it was logwood that they initially stole from the Spaniards. Then they started coming here, set up their camps. Then eventually the industry changed and they started extracting mahogany. That's how the British got here. And there were different, like, small civil wars, so to speak, between the Spanish and the British over time because the British were just that, like, presumptuous person that just decided, hey, I can move into your house.
Damn white people.
Yeah.
You know, you mentioned how they, and you put in air quotes, discovered America. If the listeners think that I only got sassy when I was an adult, I remember being in second grade and hearing the whole story of, Columbus discovering America. And I said, well, hold on a second.
People are already there.
Doesn't discover mean like nobody knew about it? And it's just, well, yeah, nobody knew about it. I said, well, but didn't the people who lived there know about it?
You know what's funny?
And I got in big trouble for that because I was questioning the teacher.
Because you were reasoning.
Yeah, like, well, what's wrong with you? They discovered something that other people already knew.
The timing of this discussion is hilarious because in like 2 weeks, like a week and a half in America, it's going to be Columbus Day.
Oh, we have that here too. Ironically. Right?
Is it also next Monday?
Is it the 12th?
Yeah.
Yeah.
14th.
Oh, okay. Well, I think it's usually the 12th of October or something like that.
The actual day is the 12th, but they celebrate it on the Monday because that we get 3 days off. Of course, when I say we, I don't mean the three of us here because we never seem to get a day off. But
yeah.
So I have a question for you. One of the things people that they don't know, but we'll tell them now is we have like one of the things you get when you live here or you live in Canada is you get like, I don't know what the word is I'm trying to find here, but you get like complacent about things. You take things for granted. And like when one of the things that's been eye-opening working with you especially, but with a few different people from different countries is just how difficult it is to electronically transfer payments from here to there. And I'm telling you, it's like, I think it would be easier to walk up to the president of the United States and shake his hand unexpectedly than it is to get money from one place to another. And like the things that don't make sense to me is, let's face it, like the people who own PayPal, they pretty much own every payment processor in the world. So why is it that like PayPal has a big chunk of Payoneer, for instance, but Payoneer will let you accept electronic payments, but PayPal won't? Aren't they the same company? Like, what's the deal? So tell me something. Do you have any clue like why that's a problem? Why it's such a big deal?
I have no idea. There's another e-payment service I came across that I was trying to sign up for, but I had to contact support because I was like, it's not available in my country. And what they told me was that they don't have an ETA for where I live. I think that's what they said.
Interesting.
I don't know. What is ETA? What did it stand for? Electronic transfer something. they didn't have some document, legal document, I guess, that they needed for that. So, and the thing with PayPal though, it works in that I can open a PayPal account and my local credit card, I can connect to it and I can make purchases. That's all I can do. I can make purchases, I can make payments, I can't receive anything. And that's the sucky part.
What the heck's the point if you can't receive the dollars?
So like the fact that I started working with you guys on Upwork and Payoneer Works for Belize, like that was really helpful and everything, because it's a lot more convenient. I mean, it's not like you have to wire the money or go to MoneyGram or something like that. So,
and a lot cheaper. I think MoneyGram is like $35 a transfer.
It's huge.
Oh wow!
Might as well not work at that point.
Right.
Serious.
Yeah, so.
We just had a situation where tomorrow I go to court against my stalker. I don't know if I'm going to win or lose, but I'm going to court against my stalker. And we put together all this evidence. And then Torya got a quote from FedEx printing how much it was going to be. And she's like, I'm going to get 3 copies, one for the judge, one for me, and one for the person that's my stalker. And she says, oh, it's only going to be $85 each. And I'm like, there's no way I'm paying $250 for printing. It's just not happening. And then she was like, oh, no, hold on a second. Well, in the end, it ended up costing like $38 total for everything. So
yeah, because I got a coupon code.
Somehow she was way off. I don't know. I can't trust her to calculate things. But I have a question for you again. What would be something about your country that you think is really cool, but that most people don't know about?
We have one of the first, it might be the only, why am I forgetting these things? Anyway, we have like one of the, I think it was the first or either the first or the only. I would be disappointed my tour guide instructor right now if she could hear me. But anyway, we have one of the first jaguar reserves in the world.
Jaguars are super cool.
Yeah, it's called Coxcomb Basin Wildlife Reserve. And so the entire area is a part of what they call a corridor in Central America, so that because the jaguar is the apex predator basically, and so he keeps the ecosystem in balance as long as we have healthy populations. So the importance of having a sanctuary and corridors across the different countries are important because, well, I mean, the animals know no borders.
That's really intriguing to me. We don't have anything neat like that here.
I'm going to come visit and you're going to take me to see the jaguars, right?
Yeah, you can actually, I should send you a video at the zoo. And the thing I love about our zoo, the zoo is like my favorite place to go. The thing that I really love about it is all the animals that were there were rescued. So like we didn't just take them. Yeah, we didn't snatch them out of the wild so that they can entertain us, you know. It started initially as someone trying to do a documentary in the 80s. And then after that, they didn't have anywhere to put the animals and they couldn't survive alone because they were either injured or orphaned. So that's what started the zoo. And now it's really grown. And another thing that's interesting about it is it really looks like you're walking in the jungle.
That sounds awesome.
So basically you're walking in the jungle and they're just, they're huge enclosures with the animals in them. And within their enclosures, there's also like all the trees and everything as if they were actually in the wild. So they're pretty comfortable. Sometimes we have a hard time seeing the animals because their enclosures are so big. Like you never know what part of it they're hiding or sitting.
You know what she's going to do, Torya, don't you?
What? She's going to feed me to the jaguars?
If you go visit, she's going to feed you to the jaguars because of how you act all the time. She's just going to take you and make you jaguar food.
I'm pretty sure the jaguar is going to be like, hey, Torya, you're my kind.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Now this coming from someone who works with you on a daily basis.
Well,
See, she's just proving my point.
Torya's the one that's always like, I'm a cat person.
Yeah, it's funny because
Jaguars be like, my people.
we just adopted We just adopted the little puppy, Bree. And, Torya's biggest fear is that the puppy will like me more than it likes her.
It already does.
And I haven't actually said this to you yet, Torya, but like, how do you expect the dog to like you when you tell everybody you like cats better?
I don't tell anybody I like cats better.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, you do.
You say you're a cat person. Now there's 2 people telling you right now that you do say that. So now why are you hiding behind a false statement?
I can't.
Well, you don't usually add that part.
Well,
exactly.
We foster dogs. It's unspoken.
See,
well, that's true.
As you know, Yogi, he's
a jerk.
He has like telepathic discussions with me at night.
Oh yeah,
he does.
Sure.
He does, and he's told me that the reason he likes me more is not just because I rescued him from the cage at the pound, but because you keep talking about how you're a cat person, and he says cats are dumb.
He better be careful how loudly he says that, because that big cat that walked behind you is going to fuck him up.
And there's the E on the episode right there.
You're welcome.
But okay, so she's a cat person, so she might like the jaguars, and we could feed her to the jaguars if we needed to. She just has to be nice to us, and then we won't feed her to the jaguars.
We could feed him to the jaguars too, right?
We could, but I'm nice.
Yeah, totally. That's totally doable.
Didn't I just say earlier that if she was fired, that she could appeal to me and I would overturn it? I didn't even say I might overturn it. I said I would overturn it. There's a huge difference. So let's tell everybody. Torya has been postponing all day telling me this, and I eventually would like to find out, but apparently your sister finally responded to her and has questions, and she's going to read me the questions. I don't know, maybe 12 hours ago, and just hasn't done it. I don't know why she's avoiding it. Maybe she said bad things about me.
Do you want me to read it to you right now?
No, because our listeners don't need to hear that.
She said, "I'm not sure about working with Mike. He seems like a giant butthead."
That's what I thought she would say. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's okay. The other 2 sisters seem to like me well enough. So.
Yeah, but the irony is, a few months ago when I was telling Torya about my sisters and everything, I think this is before Hadassah joined. So I'm telling her the names of all the sisters. My youngest sister is Vashti. She's like, oh, her name begins with V. She's my favorite one. I was like, okay.
That's because until recently, we had like 3 of you with H's, and then I hired an H person. I mean, it's just crazy. But, I was thinking about it. I'm not sure that there's actually 3 sisters. Well, that's not true, because I've actually seen your other sister too. I did a Zoom with her. But I was going to tease you and say, I think you just wanted all the hours. And so you pretend to be the other people, but
she wouldn't need to. She could just have all the hours, all of them, 67 per week.
I gotta say, probably the number one thing we've learned from Ellen is to work with people who will accept you exactly as you are. And it kind of makes sense. Like, my gosh, when you get into a relationship, do you want to be in a relationship with somebody who says, hey, I really like you, but I want you to change how you dress. I want you to change how you talk. I want you to change your hairstyle. I want you to do this different. I want you to do that. No one wants that. So why would you want to work with people that are like that? And that's the thing. It started out with the staff people, and she made an effort to hire people that were more like her. Like I have a guy who used to work for the really weird team of developers that I mentioned before the show started when we were chatting. And he went out on his own, and he told me some interesting things about them that I wasn't shocked by. I kind of already suspected. But when he was working with the other team, I didn't really care for him. But now, like, he's a lot like me. He's super confident. He says what's on his mind. And like when he says something's going to be a priority, he makes it a priority, that sort of thing. And so I actually really like him now. But it's interesting to me because he's, like I say, he's like me. So it fits. The other guy that we were talking about, he's not like me at all. I mean, not at all. He was begging recently, not to be fired because he billed me for the wrong time period. Big deal. It's correctable. Do it. When I mentioned that to you, you said that you relate. So why don't you tell us about a time when you thought you were going to be fired? Since we started the show off by saying you were fired.
Oh, I might have to search through Slack because, well, today for one, because I am. Torya did you do that as a setup for this show or something so that I could have an experience to relate?
No.
Because I'm the type of person that you should not say, "Hey, I'd like to have a talk with you later on today. I'll give you a call." Like that just has me worrying the entire time. From the time you tell me until we actually have the conversation, I'm going through my mind trying to think about all the wrong things that I said or did or almost did, or maybe I said something that was misinterpreted, or maybe I missed something.
I even said, "Don't worry."
But that wasn't the first thing you said.
I'm sorry. I'm the worst. Feed me to the jaguar.
No, you can't have the worst. That's his title.
She changed it earlier. She doesn't like the worst. She wants to be the bomb now instead.
Okay.
You know what's interesting about what you just said, though, is I relate to what you said because, first of all, when I worked for other people, I hated hearing that too because it usually meant something bad. But even down to like, I've had people where I'll disagree with them on something online and they'll tell me they're going to call the police on me. And I know I didn't do anything wrong. And I know the police are going to laugh at them. But for some reason, for like maybe 30 seconds, I'll be like, oh my God, what am I going to say to the police officer? This is really stupid. And then I realized, yeah, it is really stupid. Like they're not going to call. First off, they're not calling the police. And even if they did, the police aren't coming. And even if they did come, I'd be like, I don't know what the heck you're talking about. It's not illegal to disagree with somebody. So there's the door. Go.
That's so interesting because like that's one of the things I don't get from people. I'm like, we're all adults. Like we can agree to disagree, talk about it, shell it out or not shell it out and just agree to disagree and move on. Like that doesn't mean that you can't have a relationship, whether that's business or personal.
We've told many guests this story. When we started this show, it was because we would sit here at night and we would have these insane conversations, hence the subtitle of the show. And one night I said, I bet people would like to listen to this. So we just literally started with a microphone attached to the phone. And we started talking into it. We got complaints in first episodes. If you look at some of our reviews, it says she yawns too much. The lady yawns too much and she talks over the man, which is true. She does talk over the man. But
that's what's called a nightly rant. That's what women do.
Right. You always talk over me. Anyway, the long and short of it is it's evolved into, first of all, the majority of people that we run into are kind of dumb. Just going to put it out there. They have
110%
zero common sense. Zero common sense. Like just you shake your head and you go, how did you not think of that? Then it also comes down to most adults are not really adults. They're children. And you could agree with them on 15 things, but because you disagree with them on one thing, they hate you. Why? Like, I think life would be really dull if everybody you interacted with, you just 100% agreed with them.
Yeah, that would be awful.
That's true.
Hey, Hannah, I have a question for you.
It would be like oatmeal every day.
Or pumpkin.
I actually eat oatmeal like 94% of the days.
She does. That's her breakfast.
Are the majority of people in Belize also toddlers?
That's a good question. I probably don't attract a lot of them, so that's why I don't know.
That's fair. Totally fair.
I think people are just people everywhere. And maybe if you live in a area that's like super highly populated, you just have more occurrences of those kind of people.
That's fair.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. It's like I always tease Torya that Canada is racist. And then she asks me why. And I tell her, well, there's 30 million people in Canada. And when I was in Canada, I think I maybe saw one black person. It's one. That's it. And that was at the airport. So I'm not even sure they were Canadian. And then she laughs. And then she laughs and tells me, no, there's really 2 black people in the whole country. And then I laugh even harder and tell her, see, I told you guys are racist.
It's like 2% of the population.
Oh, wow. Yeah. We are so many shades here. So after like the British came, then they brought slaves here from Africa. So we have Mayan, European, British, African ancestry. So that's why a lot of people here in Belize look like me. Or we even have some people that are like Scottish descendants. And like they have hair like mine that's like super coily, but their hair is blonde and their eyes are green. We have a lot
That's
of like
glorious.
so many different shades of brown. Like me and my sisters. We have a lot of Taiwanese and Asian people here as well, and even people from India that have migrated here. And then, at least in my generation, there's a lot of intermarrying and going on. Well, I mean, my parents were like among the first generation of people that like didn't stick to their ethnic group per se. Because my dad, he would be considered like Hispanic, and my mom is like dark. So I mean, in the States, she would be considered like African American.
Yeah.
And that's the cool thing, like about interracial. What the hell is Mike doing?
Being a lunatic.
She wouldn't be considered African American because she wouldn't be American.
She's African Belizean.
She's a darker shade of brown. And then 4 kids, and we're all like 4 different shades of brown. And that's like almost for everyone in Belize.
There's a 4th one?
Yeah, my brother.
Oh. Is he youngest?
Does he want a job?
He's in high school.
Yeah, no.
He's in high school.
Nothing wrong with a high schooler.
Oh
well,
God.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying he probably might not have the time.
Yeah. Well, someone finally forwarded me the email, and the questions are pretty normal. There's only 2 of them. And so I'm not sure why it was such a big deal, but okay. I get it now.
You've been busy, you loon bag.
She actually said she'd only take the job if she could work with me and only me. So there's that.
I'm pretty sure she...
So she totally reversed it.
You're talking about my sister, right?
Of course.
Of course.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she said that because I've totally talked you up to her, Mike.
Well, you know, one of the things we've been thinking about is I've been telling Torya that I need more help just for me. And so she may work mostly exclusively
instead of sharing.
Yeah, instead of sharing stuff. And
you're stuck with me now.
But guys, you know, I just realized something. We didn't totally explain like who Hannah is. You know, she's somebody who I'll never forget this. Okay, we had this guy, and it was one of Torya's first people who she hired, and his name was Willie. And I actually think Willie still listens to the show because I'm just going to tell you that there's some downloads from the Philippines, and yeah.
Hi, Willie.
So anyway, you know, Willie started out and Willie was on fire. Like everything. Torya's like, oh, I asked Willie to do this. I thought it was going to take 2 hours. He did it in 30 minutes. Oh my gosh. I asked Willie to do this and he got it done. Then all of a sudden it was, I don't know what happened to Willie, but he keeps making mistakes. And that only took about, 3 months before it got to that point. So then she found you, Hannah.
And she brought you on board.
And yeah, he cost her 2 clients. They bailed on her because of him. And that's really a bad thing. Really bad thing. And then she found you, and then it sounded the same. Like, oh my God, I asked Hannah to do this, and she did it faster.
And were you waiting
for the 3 months for you to just like tank, and then you didn't, and you just kept getting better and better and better and better. And like, I'm gonna spill the beans because that's just who I am. And since you're here,
she's ready to the beans.
We might as well talk about it. There's been times where like you're busy. And she just says, oh, I wish Hannah was around right now. I need help. I wish she was around. If she was around, she would take care of this just like that. So I think what Torya's solution has been is she's just hiring your entire family. Because she figures everybody in your family is exactly the same. And so far she's not off that badly. And I would say your parents have done an amazing job with all of you because, being a parent of 4 kids myself, I know what a hard job it is. And I think they've done a great job of, how to put it, teaching you what work ethic is about, but also teaching you to be kind of like outgoing. And I think that to tell you the truth, from my perspective, and don't go slacking off after I say this, but from my perspective, I would, if you rate people and let's say like their work ethic is like a 9, but their personality is like a 1. I would rather have the person whose work ethic is about a 6, but their personality is like a 9 because they make it more fun, to work with them. You, though, probably are both a 9 and a 9 when it comes to those things. And so it makes it even more fun to work with you. what I'm also been noticing is like your sister has been helping me with my Twitter stuff, and she's not quite as thorough as you are about like, oh, here's a typo. Should we
Better
fix
hope
it?
She doesn't listen.
But I don't care if she listens. I think she does a great job. That's what I'm going to say in a second if you would have let me.
No,
Typical.
I refuse.
My gosh. People that listen to us know she really runs the show. I just sit here and listen. Yeah, right.
I know about that wife life.
That's great. But anyway, she's gotten more and more thorough as we've gone along. And like, even today, she said, I noticed there was already a post in place for blah, blah, blah date and time, but it wasn't the right category. And she said, should I remove it and put something in the right category? I said, sure, just take it out. And I know why it's there. It's because I was testing a bug in the stupid software that was repeating. For some reason, it repeats midnight over and 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 over, but only on Monday. It likes Monday at midnight.
That's weird.
And I actually tested it, and if it keeps it up, I'm going to move the post to 12:30 in the morning instead of midnight, because for some reason it doesn't care about 12:30. It only likes midnight. It wants midnight. It wants minute. You can't do minutes in it. It's half hours increments. And why would you post something at like 12:12 in the morning? That's like trying to make it look like it's not done by a posting service. Like, what's up with that?
I literally said 12:01 because then it says close to midnight is physically possible without being midnight, the annoying minute of the day.
Doesn't allow that, but 12:30 works. And I want to know what the hell. And I asked them, like, I even had a supervisor help me. Yeah, she asked
quote
two
unquote
questions.
Supervisor. They were all stupid.
Two questions and disappeared completely. But long and short of it is 12:30 works, but you put it at 12. Every time you add a new post, any other time, any other day, it takes the post that was at midnight and duplicates it, and then duplicates it again. And pretty soon, after you've put in,
it quadruplicates it.
What are we doing? We're doing 28 posts a week. So it ends up putting in 29 posts or 28 posts into the midnight on Monday. Don't know why. And they tried to tell me it was impossible. So I recorded a video of it. Then she literally, how's this for service? You've watched the videos that I give you, and I'm very thorough about, dude, here's this button over here. See this button? So I do that with them. Here, look at this. I clicked this button. Then I did this. Then I did this. And she goes, well, did you go into the schedule thing and change the time to be midnight from the day that you picked?
Dude, I'm showing you exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah, you watched the video, did I? And I actually said that back to her. I typed back, you watched the video, right? And she said, yes. And I said, well,
watch it again.
In the video, does it show me changing the date and time? Well, no, but I thought I would ask. Okay, well, that's helpful. I give you a video to make the process faster, and you come back with, I thought I would ask. Maybe you should ask me if I'm logged in, too.
I would have been like, did you watch the video at minute 12 and second 5? You can see it right there.
Dumb.
Well, I finally told her, I literally finally told her that I need to speak to a supervisor, that I can't deal with her because she's literally, I need someone who's going to pay attention to what I'm saying.
The supervisor is worse.
Well, yeah. Then the supervisor took 3 days to get back to me, asked 2 questions, and never answered me again. Just livid. But I got this software. Have you heard of AppSumo?
No.
It's like a company that, say you have a software and it's an online software and you're trying to get big. They offer so many what they call codes to AppSumo, and they'll sell it for like $49 for a lifetime license. And they might actually be charging $49 a month, but they're going to sell it to you for $49 for a lifetime license. And so I've bought quite a few things off of there because sometimes they're $29 and you just go, well, for $29, how can I go wrong? I can, sell it to somebody else if I want to. That's where I got this software from. And I think I paid $39 for a lifetime license, but it's kind of like the first time that it's only really been worth $39. Every other one's been worth like a million times that, but this one's worth $39. And like the interface is,
not great.
Ask your sister, the interface is really weird. Like things are gray, and you would expect that when you can use them that they would be dark, but they're not. They're gray. So last thing that I want to ask you before we sign off here, because we've been talking for 37 minutes, if you can believe it, and nobody commented about my new name.
I've seen it, but you've been yammering away, and I haven't had a chance to be like, what the fuck?
She attacked me. Anyway, not really. She fell and she tried to grab a hold of my arm, and
she's a demon.
Kind of hurt. But anyway, what is like here in California, our state animal, believe it or not, Torya is going to cringe when she hears this.
It's a bear.
The golden bear. What is like your national animal? Because I'm an animal lover, so I want to know.
Oh, there are a few. We have the keel-billed toucan.
So a bird.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
It's actually pretty. And then there's the tapir.
Nice.
Oh, those are so cute.
Are cool.
You know what tapirs are?
Yeah.
You're like one of the few people that actually know what tapirs are.
Really?
Animal lovers. That's why.
Yeah. That's about it.
That's interesting. But I have to say, I think that you should come on more often.
6 times a week.
In fact, we were supposed to have a guest yesterday who
didn't show up.
I think he was too stoned to remember, because I checked Instagram and like 5 hours before he asked, "Are we still on for tonight?"
Wow.
And about an hour and a half after he posted, he said, "Oh no, I can't believe I forgot." How do you remember something 5 hours before and then forget? I don't get that. And then I hadn't responded because I hadn't checked that particular Instagram. So then it was, did I make you guys mad? Well, not really, but you just kind of messed us up.
Burned a bridge.
Made Torya mad. Torya's
mad.
Angry.
She banned him from the show, but I overthrew her ban and said it's not going to happen.
I didn't ban him from the show. I banned him from the show until the end of 2019.
But my favorite part about having him on the show, and I'm not going to mention his name because I don't want to promote him right now, but my favorite part of having him on the show is that I get to make fun of him. Even better than that, he doesn't realize I'm making fun of him.
Oh, that's hilarious.
For a while there, he changed his Instagram name probably as much as people change clothing. Like
he sounds familiar.
He was, when we first met him, he was an aspiring comedian. Now he's trying to be a programmer, which I find interesting. And I don't know, Torya gets irritated sometimes. Me, I like making fun. And there's times we've had really good conversations. Then there's other times where he's acting weird. I just make fun. Why not?
Yeah.
People say I'm mean. So, hey, I'm just going to live up to that and be mean.
Apparently I'm mean.
It's really Torya that's mean. It's all her fault.
I tell people all the time that I'm the rude one of the relationship. Like, I don't... Like, people are finally starting to listen, but I'm definitely the rude one because I have no filter. And I don't really give a crap what people think about what I say.
True, she doesn't have a filter. I'm not sure she's the rude one, but I think we both have that title covered. But actually, you know what? I wouldn't even call either one of us rude. I think we're just blunt.
Feisty.
I have a tendency to be blunt.
That's probably why we like you so much.
Maybe.
Well, that brings us right back to talking about the biggest thing we learned from Ellen is to work with people who are more like us. And I think there's 2 things about you that are why we like you. You're very accurate with your work and you get a lot of work done, but also because the fact that you're blunt and sarcastic and all of these things. But not only that, everybody who's sarcastic doesn't always get sarcasm. You seem to get it. And that's huge because when you're working with 2 people like her and I that are super sarcastic, it really is off-putting to people. Like that one lady that worked with us for a while, I never liked her work, ever. She created graphics for me like a year ago, 6 months ago, maybe. And actually 9 months ago was the beginning of the year. And they were just horrendously awful. And like you'd point it out to her and she'd get mad. Like, but it has to be that way. No, actually, I'm the customer. It doesn't have to be that way. Sorry. And so I was kind of glad to see her go. She was doing or supposed to do what your sister was doing, but is doing now. But what she wasn't doing that your sister does do is catching stupid things like the post being in the wrong place or posting 73 times when it shouldn't be posting 73 times. Like stupid stuff like that anyone should pick up on. She was missing it. So I'm kind of glad to see her go. But she was another one. Like I remember when you first met her, Torya, she was like, I don't know, kind of tough.
She also lost me a client.
Did she? Who did she lose you?
I'll tell you later.
Okay. Well, it's been fun having you on here, and you're welcome anytime you want to come on. You're welcome to come on.
Thank you.
Keep that booking link and join us because
do it.
I looked at the time and I was like, wow, it's been 40 minutes.
This is a lot easier than I thought it was. I told Torya I'm sure I was overthinking it.
Someone was nervous.
Yeah, there's no need to be nervous because we don't bite. It's Diego that bites. And
he's vicious. That's true.
He is laying on his back at the moment. Let's see if I can capture this moment.
I have to say, being a part of the show is a lot more entertaining than listening to the show, because at the moment my cheeks kind of hurt because I've been laughing so much.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I get asked all the time, like, well, what's the genre of the show? And I always just say comedy. And people
Lunacy.
are like, well, what do you guys tell jokes? No, we don't necessarily tell jokes. We just like say whatever's on our mind. And sometimes
I am the joke.
We are the joke. It's just fun. And like we one of the reasons why I can tell you, like, Brian Little, he's a great guest. And I think a big reason why he's such a great guest is because all three of us click.
That blockhead.
You're a really good guest because we click. We had Joy Malik on. She was a really good guest because we click. The hypnotherapist guy his name escapes me at the moment, but he was a super nice guy. We click. That Ruben J, is his name Ruben J or Ruben James? I can't remember.
J.
And I listen to his podcast like at least once a week, so I can't even believe I forgot his name. But we clicked with him too, and that's when the episodes are the best. Is when we have people that we click with, because of course it is about conversation, and you can't have good conversation with somebody that you don't click with.
That's true. I think this is the third time we've been trying to end this conversation.
Well, we don't have to end it. We can just keep going for another hour if you want. I mean, I'll just break it into 3 episodes, and that'll be a whole week, and you'll have been on for an entire week.
It's 900 degrees in here without the fan on.
I didn't think about it. I should have invited Hannah to be a guest on the show. So if Customs doesn't let you back in the country, that's what I'll do. I'll invite her to take your place.
You're gonna replace me with Hannah? That's fine. You do that.
She can be the new co-host. I think it would be funny.
She has to get a little sassier.
Actually, what's interesting, I was just going to say, what's interesting is the only thing she'd have to change is she has to be a little sassier. That's all. Otherwise, you guys are a lot alike in that respect.
Well,
I feel like you're restraining yourself, and I'm disappointed in you.
Ooh, shots fired at the 46
sorry, not
mark.
sorry.
Oh.
I was just gonna say though, if my husband was a part of this conversation, he was gonna be like, "Oh, you have no idea."
I'm sure.
Well, see, that's the truth.
Maybe one day I'll find out.
If my wife was part of the conversation, oh wait, she is.
Really, dude?
Or is she?
I don't know. Are we married? I don't have a wedding ring on.
Are you part of the conversation? How is that any different than any other day? Oh my gosh. Women complain about men not wearing their ring. There's mine. Anyway, but thanks again for being here. Come again. Anytime.
Thank you for having me.
Frequently. You can be here frequently. We'll be more than happy anytime. And if you got something you want to get off your chest sometime, this is the perfect place to do it.
Sure. Next time I can talk about that guy I regret working with.
That would be a good idea. Now, why don't you, we always do this with guests, so why don't you tell our guests, if you want to, how they can connect with you? I'm
on LinkedIn under Hannah Cattous. That's Cattous, not Cat House.
Cat House without the H.
You see, that's the thing. I think people, and even before I got married, my husband was like, hey, so a lot of times people say Cat House instead of Cattous. I think it's because the 2 T's together kind of look like an H. Yeah. And people are just like, oh, Cat House. No, it's Cattous.
Well, and I'll put a link in the show notes to your, or actually you'll put a link in the show notes to your LinkedIn, because
that's my job.
The episodes.
Well, on that lunatic-filled note, good night, everyone.
Hasta luego, Diego. She got me. Peace out, Diego. Thank you for listening to the Nightly Rant.
If you enjoyed the show, please give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or Google Play.
If you didn't enjoy the show, please just ignore that previous request for a rating.
This has been a Yogi's Podcast Network production.